Hello and welcome to episode 28 of the Statesmanship Project. Last episode I touched on the idea of focusing our energy on the future and on the type of world in which we want to bring about. This leads me to a little bit of a hiccup that I want to clarify, because in order to facilitate a society that is beneficial for every member of it, we must have a government. But we must understand that the term government does not necessarily reflect the government that is in the United States. So a government is simply the leadership of an association of people that is endowed with the power to make final decisions in disputes. And depending on the terms of the association of people, they are the people that are in charge of allocating certain resources or directing certain projects that are intended to benefit all of the members of the association. That being said, we want to contrast that with our current government in the United States. The government of the United States is a corporation. It is similar to Microsoft in that regard. The difference is that ostensibly, allegedly, it was established to benefit all of the members of the association known as the United States, so all of the citizens, and it was designed to be benevolent. The reality is the exact opposite. So what we see with the establishment of the corporation is that one of the first things it did was it turned everyone into a lower class citizen. It turned everyone from a capital citizen, capital C citizen, to a lowercase c citizen. And when you are a lowercase c citizen, that means you are a vassal of the government. And so the United States citizen, capital U, capital S, lowercase c, is an entity that is owned by the government and exploited for the benefit of the government. You, if you hold the office of United States citizen, are in fact the surety and the collateral against the debt of the United States, which means all of the borrowing that they do is levied against your future productivity. And some of it is against the property taxes that you pay. And this, of course, is not what an actual government would do that is established to benefit the people. So we see governing bodies for various different organizations. Any organization has a governing body. It is necessary that you have one person or a group of people that are there to make final decisions for the benefit of the group. And if this body or this person makes decisions that serve themselves or serve a particular part of the group over the entirety of the group, this person is biased, or these people are biased and are incapable of being impartial and need to be removed from their office. In the United States, we have an entire government system that is not even intended to be impartial. It is designed specifically so that you, the United States citizen, are exploited for their gain. And this is what we were talking about earlier, where means become inverted for ends. And so the government is supposed to be a means to the service of the common good. But in the United States, the government has inverted itself to become the end. And so your work, your labor, as an individual, as a United States citizen, is used for the benefit of the government. And when you think about how easy it would be to do things that clearly and objectively would benefit the members of our association, being the nation of Americans, how easy it would be to do things that clearly benefit us. And then you see the government doing the exact opposite, the corporation doing the exact opposite. It can be determined that there is no other purpose to it. It is intentional exploitation. They intentionally want to demean you. And so with that in mind, we must understand that what the United States Corporation does and what a government, a genuinely benevolent, impartial body of leaders of a nation would do are two entirely different things. Our government, the corporation in the United States, exploits intentionally the people. And this drives people away from the entire concept of leadership and the entire concept of organization. And of course, this is a benefit to those that run the current government, because without collective organization for the benefit of the people, they have no opposition. And any time any group starts to arise, it is subverted. We see this from the 1950s with the America First movement being subverted, and now it is conservatism, which is about 10 years behind liberals. It does nothing to conserve anything. Couldn't even conserve the women's restroom, as the saying goes. And so it is this puppet organization that is designed to corral dissent. But it slowly leads people to where the other group of people have already been led. And the government foments this fake division between the parties in order to prevent us from uniting together to oppose them. And anybody, particularly within libertarian groups, they oppose government in its entirety. It's like you have to make the distinction between this government and government as a concept. When government as a concept is a leadership, a group of leaders who have been chosen from the people to lead the people impartially to a benevolent and positive outcome for all of the people. This presents an entirely different perspective on what government could be, what government ought to be. And so when we discuss government moving forward, this is what we want to have in mind. Statesmanship is the idea that we are leaders within our community. We are first and foremost leaders of ourselves. We achieve our goals, we stay on point, on task, and we accomplish the things in our life that we need to do, and we stand as examples of how life ought to be, of how you ought to live. And in doing this, we present a positive example for members of our community, and then that carries forward into a larger and larger group. And if we were all statesmen, if we all were self-governed, then your body of government leaders are simply there to make decisions for everyone that benefits everyone. These solutions that they would derive would be so much more effective and efficacious and beneficial to the people that the idea that government exploits people would become a fairy tale. Not a fairy tale. Fairy tale is a bad word. Bad idea. A cautionary tale. We have to be worried about this because this happened then. And we must make sure that we get people that are kind and benevolent and effective at self-governing so that we as a loose association of people all benefit from their decisions. And of course, the more self-governed we are, the less decisions we need to have them make. But we will always need a final arbiter for all disputes. But that final arbiter must act impartially for the benefit of all of the people, keeping in mind what it means to be a person, the dignity of each individual being, the God-given dignity. And that is another thing that is often forgotten and overlooked within the corporation that runs our country. They don't treat us like humans. They treat us like cattle. But I digress. I don't want to get too far off topic. The idea of this conversation was simply to point out the difference between the corporation that runs the United States, how it treats the people, and how terrible that is, versus what an actual government could be, which is a benevolent group of leaders of a community or a nation that act in the service of all of the people. Having that in mind, it might be hard to conceptualize what that would look like, and it might be, some people might think it's a pipe dream, but I think it's possible. And the more we think about it, the more we work towards that, the easier it will become to achieve. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time, have a good day.